Joining us now is Danjuma Ahmed. He's the chairman, Air Transport Services Senior Staff Association, FAAN branch. Nice to have you join us. And Happy New Year. All right, now when it comes to the issue of touts in the airport or at the airport, I know that you have heard of this so many times and we've been complaining, everyone has been talking about it, but talk to us, just how challenging is it to get rid of touts within the airport space? Because a lot of people travel across the world. You go to Johannesburg or you go to Kenya and Dubai, you don't see all of these things. You come back home and then you're being swarmed upon or harassed by a lot of people, trying to, in disguise, help you. Meanwhile, they have ulterior motives. Talk to us then.
Yeah, I think it's quite a challenging problem. And the problem could be multifaceted.
Okay.
We made it abundantly clear to passengers that air travel had been made very simple and easy. From the comfort of your room, you can buy your ticket, check in and print your boarding pass. All you need to do at the airport is to go in there and put your flight and move. But Nigerians, people would not like to do that. You want to get to the airport at the dying minute, join the queue and start purchasing ticket. So press and suffering yourself for something that is absolutely not necessary. Recently, FAAN particularly made a statement that protocol services have been banned by unauthorized agencies. Federal Airport Authority has a department that handles protocol services. It made it clear to Nigerians that don't entertain anybody coming to assist you to purchase ticket or check in your luggages.
But it is one thing to make these statements within, as in by the agency. It's another thing for it to be disseminated adequately for Nigerians to understand and know.
I think we did that. We did that. It's just that, like I said, Nigerians will always want to prove big guys.
No, but then there are issues where emergency happens, and then you are forced to travel at the
that day.
minute.
Exactly, yes.
Are there provisions at the counter? Because you get to the counter, you would expect that there are provisions made for such
protocol services.
exigencies.
Protocol services or exigencies that you come late.
Yes.
Yeah, the issue is you have many airlines available to you. Open your phone. If you think you are to move by 8 o'clock and you could not make it, check your phone. The next available flight, 9 o'clock, will be there for you. Buy it there, pay there, and get your boarding pass right in your office. Then move to the airport. And you should also consider that most of the airlines clearly state that there is time limit for you to buy your ticket, check in, and come to the airport. They give like 40 to 2 hours. Nigerians will not do that. They will come by 15 minutes to the close of the counter.
All right.
And they want to get a ticket.
But should we see from the Nigerian who, due to whatever reason, is coming late, or we should see it from the view of the presence of touts even in the airport space in the first place?
In terms of implementation
because the point
of
there
what
is,
the statement FAAN has made.
Because the point there is people rushing for flights. It's found anywhere. It happens anywhere in the world. But you don't find people harassing anybody. So we're talking about within the airport space. Why should there be touts in the first place?
Well, it depends on the way you couch it. If you say tout,
well, anyone harassing you,
thank you very much. Yeah, that's very good. You need to make it very clear that it's a tout.
But anyone who extorts money, we can call them as touts. Illegal funds.
Well, that's your own interpretation. But what I want to say is that in every airport, particularly the airport we find ourselves in Nigeria, we have a lot of challenges. In the sense that we at a point said, if you are traveling, come alone or 2 or 3 of your brothers or sisters to see you off. In Nigeria, we have more meters and greeters than even the passengers. I could remember vividly, there was a governor in Nigeria that anytime he's traveling, the whole of his commissioners will follow him to the airport. And all of them wants to gain access to the restricted area. We have rules and regulations. We've been talking to all the agencies of government and both state and federal government that these are our procedures at the airport. Come alone, do your check-in and move. But Nigerians will not understand. Everybody wants to show up. You want to carry crowd to the airport. You will not even differentiate who is the traveler and who is not traveling. And as such, people from outside will assume everybody there is a tout. Fine, there are some that actually have no business being at the airport. And as an authority, we have rules. There are some that actually have no business being at the airport. And as an authority, we have rules, guidelines for anybody operating within the confines of the airports. For you to access that particular airport, we identify you, we vet you, we give you a badge that allows you access into the restricted area of the airport.
But
anybody outside that is not welcome.
From the look of things, it seems there is some sort of liaison between those working at the counter and these persons.
Yeah, I will not dispute that. Recently, like during the rush hours, particularly during the Yuletide period, December, definitely there are rushes. People want to fly, and definitely the volume of passengers will surely increase. Some of the airlines actually do some dubious businesses. They make me an aircraft of about 140-something passengers, and they've started selling the tickets maybe a long time ago. They tactically can withhold some of the tickets.
Tactically?
Yeah, that we can't deny that. They will now hold it when guys come to travel and you are pressed, and that's exactly what happened to our sister. They will jack up the price because you are desperate to move. You'll be compelled to pay at higher price.
What kind of prosecutions are supposed to be meted out?
Exactly. You know, we have regulators in this industry, and it is expected that NCA should watch these activities very well, in conjunction with other agencies in the airport, particularly FAAN and NAMA, so that things like that should be stopped.
All right. Danjuma Ahmed, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Right.
Joining us now is Danjuma Ahmed. He is the chairman, Air Transport Services Senior Staff Association, FAAN branch. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Glad to have you, Thank you.
Now, it is said that the airport is a window with which the world view a country. How concerning the kind of image or picture this issues in terms of louts, fleecing customers of monies and all of that in the airport? How concerning are you of the image or picture it paints of Nigeria to the world?
Yeah, I think it's a very terrible situation, and we're really concerned about that. And as an institution, I think we are trying to see that this kind of thing are discouraged, and also sensitize traveling public on the do's and don'ts at the airport. Recently, we conducted a survey of the personnel working within the airport environment, and that issue was actually brought to the fore. We took samples and analysis of the visitors, the meeters and greeters, and the staff that are working around the airport environment. Unfortunately, we discovered that a lot of them have little or no business to do at the airport. And for that, particularly FAAN came up with a policy that for you to come and transact a business or do a protocol service in the airport, you need to register with FAAN. FAAN has their staff that are trained to carry out those exercises. Companies like oil companies and private institutions that have staff that normally travel most often, instead of you coming into the airport to buy a ticket directly, you now have a contact who is a FAAN staff. They will do all those activities for you by one person. Okay. On arrival, they will go in there, get you out, do the custom and immigration documentation, and you exit out seamlessly. But unfortunately, Nigerians don't like that kind of activity. That's why they engage all these stuff. Like the incidents we saw recently. Those guys, most of them were working with some of these companies. So when we realized that they are even going out of their mandate, the companies engage them on private basis. Go and do this for me at the airport because I travel every day. You'll be my contact. I'll be paying you. And most of them are, maybe worked in the airline, most of the airlines that went Marybound and they could not have any job. So they still linger around the airport, but they know the terrain there. So these individuals, because they are used to them while they were working, they will engage them to facilitate their movements. So we said, no, we don't want that again. If you think you are big and you want somebody to offer service, come to us. We'll charge you from the beginning of the year. Throughout the year, we'll offer this service to you, and you'll be up and gone. So we did that analysis. We now discovered the number of people that are loitering around the airport environment are so enormous. So we had a task force that's mandated to flush out all those individuals. And we've done that. It was a very Herculean task. It was not easy, because you can imagine the number of people that are loitering around that area. And for you to say overnight, you are removing food from their mouth, you should imagine the kind of resistance you will come across. But we are still on it. We are still doing it. Every week, we stage a raid on those individuals. We flush them. Some might come back. Some will go. So, but gradually, we are trying to.
Besides those who might be seen as extortionists, how about those who loiter around begging people? Because there are some corporate beggars there who, when you're approaching, they just meet you and tell you, we're collecting funds for different things. Can you give us some monies and all of that? We also find people like that within the airport area.
Well, I can't say much about those because it could be difficult to say that this is what this person is doing unless if you have the experience. You understand? If somebody advanced to you while coming to the airport and said, I want this, you should be able to find out what do you want this thing for and why. Is this a legal thing? We're all educated people. We should be able to identify the difference between good and bad. If you advance me, by me looking at your face, I will know whether you are real or not. And I will chase you out. So we have a responsibility as Nigerians to also not interact with those people. Right. You are at the airport to travel, not to engage anybody. Right. So go straight to the counter, get your ticket and fly.
Right. All right. I hope there's also the avenue where, when cases like this are reported, complaints, when they come in, the swift reaction.
Of course we do. Okay. In NCA, there is a particular department that's called Consumer Protection Unit. Okay. And I will urge Nigerians, if you have challenge like this, they have desk in all our airports. Okay. Right. Go there, file your report, and we'll take it off from there.
All right. Danjuma Ahmed, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.